Hey everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. And today we're doing a new and improved how to make an intro to a house song. We've gotten some feedback saying that maybe I should add in a couple, some more advanced techniques, so I'm going to be showing you that. So first and foremost, the main essential part of a house song usually is the kick. So I chose two kicks here that I like the top end on one and the bottom end on the another. So first things first, you're making a house song. Generally you want your tempo to be from 125 to 130. The most popular setting is 128. It just depends on what kind of, if you want to go for more of a chill song, maybe you want to do 125, a little bit more upbeat, 130. But generally it's 128 for anybody who's wondering. Probably already knew that, but we're going to be going into the main essential part, which I totally recommend doing first, is getting a good sounding kick, and then after you start making like a beat or adding some sounds in, then you go back and make sure the kick still sounds good with the mix. So first, I want to show you these two samples. I chose, I believe, this one for the top end, and this one for the bottom end. So as you can hear, this one had a lot more deep punch to it. So first, add both these into the mixer. We're going to be adding EQs. So what I'm going to be doing is mixing these two sounds together. So watch as I EQ, and then I'll explain another little trick that I do in order to add a little, to mix them together better. Alright, so next we have to put these both in key, so I'm going to check the pitches of these, and then I'll explain after I check the pitch. So all kicks will have a pitch. Some other samples will have pitches, like low toms, snares sometimes. Just if it has a lot of big tail end like this, usually it might have a pitch, so check it. So this one is B. I'm going with the first sound, or F. So I'm going to just check both keys and how they sound with this kick. What I'm going to do is go into miscellaneous, and it was B, so I'm going to place it at B and hear what that sounds like. For high-end kicks, I usually place the root note at the one below within the fours, and for the low-end kicks, I usually place them above, because this is going to make it sound higher, and place it in this region to make it sound lower. I'll show you what I mean with the deep kick. Alright, so that was G sharp. So first I'm going to show you, this is what it will sound like in the low region. This is the high region. As you can see from the waveform, it has a little bit more tail end. But I also, it's the same kind of sound, so I'm going to leave it here because I don't want to drown out the mix with my kick. Next, what I'm going to do is go to the Insert tab on your low end kick, and we're going to affect this so that this high end has a little bit more room within the mix, and we're going to bring down the attack, bring down the release, bring the sustain all the way up, and the decay all the way down. The decay doesn't matter. The hold doesn't matter either. But we're going to bring this delay just a little bit forward so the initial part of the kick is not hitting. Just like that, and that's going to leave a little bit of room for the high end. Alright, perfect. Now they're both in key, and they both have their room in the mix. What I'm going to do next is add more samples. All the samples that I'm going to be using today are within the drum samples, which is given to you by ImageLine. What I recommend doing is going on to imageline.com and downloading the free version or the demo version of Groove Machine, and it will automatically download these samples as well and just drop them into your browser so you have easy access to them, and you can use every sound that I'm using today. So what I'm going to do now is add a cymbal to my kicks to give it a little bit of high end. Alright, that's sounding good. Now I'm going to add in some claps. I'm placing the claps every other beat, and then I'm going to make a reverse clap for the second beat. Alright, so the reason I added some sound ghettos was just to bring up these volumes a little bit while keeping the dBs low, because I wanted to make them punch a little bit more. Sometimes it's not a good idea to compress samples like your drum samples, but generally they're the only part of your mix that you can really compress and not really affect the whole mix. So what I'm going to add in now are some hi-hats. Alright, now we're going to add in some other toms and percussion instruments to, like bongos, to fill up the sound. Let a little bit more variety to the pattern. Alright, so as you can see, delays kind of add some flavor to the mix, and you don't have to add in multiple pattern blocks in here. As you can see, I also had to change the pitches of these, so they're all in key here. And I think another thing that I'm going to add in is a reverse clap. So I'm going to take the high end of the clap, which is this one, and reverse it. So I'm going to clone this. I'm adding to the mixer. So this is going to have its own EQ. Unfortunately, the video got interrupted, but basically I didn't know that it was being interrupted, so sorry about that. But what I did was I took the pattern we were just working on, this one, and I added in this percussion. And I added a delay to it to make it sound like that. And then what I'm going to show you is how to make the layout. Basically, you want to do 32 bars, 8 measures. That's what is generally used in house music. And so every 8, we're going to have different patterns. So I'm going to start with the biggest pattern that we made first, which is this one, and I'm going to add that at the end. That way, as we start from the beginning, there's less noise, and then transition to a new noise, and transition into a new noise. So start with pattern 1, and then as you make your way backwards, make a new pattern, and then delete some stuff. Like for this one, I deleted the toms and this percussion. And then for the first 16, I don't like a low kick, so I took that one out, as well as the other bongos. And then finally for this one, I took out all the short hat, and left the open hat and the claps. And then what I did was I went into here and I found some cymbals, and I just reversed it and placed it so it would hit every 8 bars, except for this one. This is an exception. Right here is what I did is I left 1 bar open, and I added this sound effect to it. And then also for when the low kick comes in, I added the cymbal in to introduce the new kick, I guess. And then same thing here, same thing here. And I'm going to add a crash or a breakdown kick right here. That's generally what happens with some white noise or whatever. So yeah, that is it, and here's what it sounds like. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just add a simple bass into the mix, because I like having basses in the beginning, or you could do melodies, but I'm going to do a bass. Alright, guys, that's it. Generally, I like to have no bass in this portion and then add in a little bit of bass here. And that's it. Hopefully this has helped. And hopefully it's better than the one that was before. I'm a little bit more advanced, a little bit more helpful. So, I'd like to see you guys in the next tutorial, and peace.